You didn't read the title wrong. This is how this amazing man called Elliot, one of my clients, lost over 3 kilograms in 3 weeks. And I'm going to share with you the exact step by step system we put in place to allow this to happen. And not only did he lose 3 kilos of fat in 3 weeks, he also put on a significant amount of muscle mass and strength, which, if you really look at the photo, you can really see like so much of the body fat has gone, and he's just feeling stronger, a bit more toned, more muscle, etc. Right? And don't get me wrong, it didn't take just 3 weeks to suddenly get this magical result. He was putting in the work before, and then during his program, there was a period of time where he just locked in, and all the prior efforts had paid off, and he lost 3 kilos of fat in the 3 weeks while maintaining and putting on his muscle. That is the healthy way to do it, right? So, what are these incredible systems we put in place? First of all, let's talk about his sleep. His sleep was off. He was busy throughout the day. He was always on his feet due to work, and sleep was one of those things he couldn't afford much of. Or so he thought. 6 hours, etc., maybe five, maybe four. It didn't work out for him. Now, obviously, we all know optimal sleep, 7 to 9 hours, whatever. But let's be realistic. If everyone could just get that click of the fingers, then there'd be no need for anyone to get fit, because everyone would be fit and healthy. So what did we do? We looked at his sleep. Okay, cool. Can you get any more sleep? Is it possible for you to stop scrolling a little bit before? Okay, yes, that can add a little bit more sleep. Then I told him, is it possible for you to get naps in? And he said yes. Even just a quick 20-minute nap throughout the day is going to help you so much. And people think napping's for the weak, etc. No, if you can get in a good nap, if you can't afford to get the full 7 to 9 hours of sleep, then get a nap in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, just shut eye, disconnect, deep breath. You don't even have to fall asleep, just relax. You'll be surprised how much that helps. Then on top of that, we spoke about how can we increase the quality of his sleep. Phone on night mode, right? Not endless scrolling before bed. Not eating within at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. Ideally 5 hours. I do that. I don't eat 4 to 5 hours before I go to bed, right? It helps the body digest the food before you go to sleep, so that way your body can actually focus on sleeping. If you eat right before you go to bed, then your body's just going to focus on digesting first, even though your eyes are closed and you're unconscious, but you're not really recovering. So that's what we did when it came to sleep. Next, when it came to nutrition, we focus on the plate method. If you don't know what this is, it's what my clients and I use, which is where you focus on your plate being comprised of 75 to 50% of high quality sources of protein and 25 to 50% of high quality sources of carbohydrates. You use the same plate for every meal, and the reason you do this is so now you can kind of count calories without counting calories, right? You can look at the data and say, okay, is the data going in the right direction? Am I burning fat? No. Okay, it's been a week, it's been 2 weeks, and I'm still putting on fat. Okay, I need to reduce my portion sizes, I need to reduce the size of the plate, etc., and stick to that. And you can just make very easy adjustments based on the data. One thing I forgot to mention actually is when it came to his plate method, he didn't always have a plate. Like, because he's on the move with his work, it would either be sometimes he packed his own lunch, so he used a container, or he had to eat like a meal deal or something. But the point is, even if you have to eat a meal deal, right, or you have to eat something you're not preparing at home, and you don't have a plate, it's all about just looking at the food. Okay, what's the healthiest option I can get based on the principles of the plate method? Okay, what's the healthiest source of protein I can get here? Can I get a lot of it? Okay, what is the best option here, and then dealing with that, and that is going to allow you to make results. Because it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent and doing the best you can in the situations that you have available to you. Next, when it came to training, he was on and off with his training for a long time, and he wasn't sure why this was, or it was becoming a bit confusing. And I get it, because he wasn't seeing the progress he wanted. Why should he continue to train? Now, with that being said, I put in place a very simple program. The simpler is the better, right? And he just did 3 days a week, full body, right? That meant that every day in the gym, he worked the entirety of his body, something hitting his legs, something hitting his upper body, etc. But on top of that, at the end of his workout, he did a conditioning piece. Could be sprints on the rower, it could be burpees. Again, and it's not about being entirely perfect, it's not about becoming a professional athlete, but what he did do is he tried his best, because those conditioning pieces are tailored to you and just allow you to try and go all out at the end of the session and really push yourself and see how far you can get. It's not a competition, you're just trying to beat yourself, right? That's as simple as that. 75% of the workout strength training, 25% of it being that conditioning piece. And it made a ton of results. And he just, props to him, just continued to slowly but surely progressive overload every session, trying to get a bit stronger, do an extra rep, add some more weight. And that is what allowed him to put on all that muscle, which also helped him burn all that fat at the same time. Next is full accountability, right? When it came to accountability, right, you often need someone in your corner to help you along the journey when times get tough, right? And to give you feedback on what's working, what's not working, why you're stuck, why you're not making progress, what other things you can put in place. And he was willing to have me in his corner to help him, keep him accountable and guide him and treat me as the expert so we could ask questions to and not waste time. A lot of people pay the price of, not having an expert in their corner, and they end up wasting time, right? People that are serious about getting results, they want to get the knowledge as soon as possible and they just want to implement. And that is what he was able to do because he had me in his corner and he can just ask questions instead of spiraling and stressing out of control when things weren't going his way. Because of course on the journey there's ups and downs, but he didn't care about that. He just kept going, kept asking the question, did what he was told. If it didn't make sense, he'd clarify, and he just took action, and now he is thriving, looking stronger and fitter than ever before. So I kept it very simple, right? And you can get results like this as well. You don't have to do anything too crazy. You just stick to these things, and the main thing is none of this is going to work unless you are consistent with it, right? You need to be consistent with your sleep, consistent with your plate method eating, consistent with your full body training, and consistent with having someone to keep you accountable or keep yourself accountable. However, if you're like Elliot, most people need someone in their corner to help them, right, to keep them accountable. And that's what takes people who get results versus people who end up struggling for years and years on end. If this sounds like you, in the description, I've got a link to a free health audit call where we can jump on a call, discuss where you are right now, right, and where you want to get to, and put an action plan in place specifically for you on how to get there. If you're interested at all, click the link in the description. If not, hope you got value, and I will see you on the next video.